UFC Vegas 55, episode 13, Shed2Ed. A lot of spicy bets last week. Legendary Polish Power. Steve, you're up $10, and you're first this week. We had a little hockey game bet, so you're up first this week.
Yeah, that's right. I knew Rangers would win in overtime, so I'll take first pick.
You went 4-2 last week. I went 2-3. Not so hot on my end. Draft battle, $5 picks. You're up first. Rockets blew his knee out.
Bad for him, but it was pretty good for us. Prayers up on his recovery, but we won a few units off of Jan. I had Jan in the draft.
But then I took Jan money line. So I made $750 betting on the Jan side, and I made another 17 because that was a TKO win for Blachowicz. I also took Petrosky by submission to the tune of $1, and that hit. You made a very prescient call on that one.
12-1 odds on that one.
So we made ourselves a hefty $35. So we're even on Dev Spicy Bets. Rangers won in overtime, which means you're up first. And normally we wouldn't run something as steep as Parker Porter, but I like Parker this week, so I let you take Almeida and fade Parker.
Yeah, and ever since I pointed out that I haven't missed any first-round picks yet, I haven't hit one yet. So let's go with the reverse curse. I'm going to take Jailton Almeida, and I'm going to bless our Parker Porter gambling pick later on. Stick around for those later.
I took Holly Holm. It's Holly Holm. Let's cheer for Holly. Ish all day. Let's go 5 rounds, take it to a decision, pick up the win, Holly.
Yeah, these are definitely the best odds you're going to get for Holly Holm, so you might as well take him at even right now because you're not going to find that later.
You took Cheaty for your second-round pick.
They're all right around the same area there, so I'll just pick and choose. I like Cheaty. Dusko has this kind of weird stance in which he's trying to bait everybody into throwing at him. Cheaty's got power to make him pay for that, and he's got the range to hit him with it too. So look for some cheeky movement from Dusko until he gets knocked by Bang Bang there.
What did I take second up? I took Elise Reed. I don't like this card. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. 1.5 is like minus 200, which means bet 2 units to win 1 unit. So I don't feel comfortable taking basically any of this card in the sports book.
We're going to be looking at the dog side for a lot of this, but it made for a pretty spicy draft.
It did. And you see us jumping around a bit, not sure what to take on either side. I took Elise Reed. I figure Elise is going to pick up the W for this one. Michelle Pajeda, you sniped Michelle. That was my next pick, man.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of looking around. I don't like any of these 2-1s, but I do like Michelle Pereira. It's not like I don't like Santiago there, but ever since his injury and his break there, he's been 1-2. Michelle is just, a world-class boxer. I think he's just going to squeak this one out here.
Next up, I went with Tabitha Ricci. I'm leaning on the ladies' night tonight. My first 3 picks, all the ladies on the card, all on the favorite side as well. Took a quick look at their past opponents. Just wanted to lean Tabitha with this one.
Going to be a fun fight, actually.
Next up, you took Johnny Martin against Vince Morales.
Yeah, Johnny Martin. Shouts out, Johnny. He's got like this weird, awkward stance. He's just going to hit him with some straight shots. Vince Morales, he doesn't really have a whole lot under his belt for opponents with stature that he's beaten. So I think Jonathan Martin is just going to be a little bit too much for him to handle.
Look forward to that one. Took your boy, Eric Anders. Let's go. Yeah, he's a dog. I like Eric. I like to root for Eric. I think he's an entertaining fighter. On a bit of a skid, could you attribute it to a lack of skill? That looks like the bookmakers did. Looks like they're kind of attributing his past losses to just not being fit to run with the big boys in the division here.
So does he get an easier one here with Junyoung Park?
I'm kind of hoping that that's the case. He's coming off of an L, so maybe they're throwing him something that's winnable for him, but clearly that 2.6 odds, people are counting him out on this fight. You took Felipe Diaz-Colares for your next pick.
I did take him indeed. This one should be a pretty fun one, too. Chase Hooper, I was watching him. He's a bit of a young guy, still pretty new and fresh, relying heavily on submissions. And that's kind of what I leaned with later on there. But
Chase Hooper, like you said, young guy, was in the Contender Series when he was still a teenager. Now he's, 22 years old, still trying to figure out his game. He's got a lot of time to develop. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again, but I'm not super confident in taking him for a pick.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking, too.
Next up, one of my favorite nicknames in the game, Uros the Doctor Medic. He coming off of an L as well, so maybe they're giving him a little layup. That's what I'm going to hope. Maybe he went back to the drawing board, tried to fix the holes in his game, and we'll see how this one plays out. But
a lot of these ones, I found them pretty hard to evaluate because they're all low-ranked fighters or lower-ranked fighters. Their past wins are against a lot of guys that aren't within the top 200 fighters in their weight, worldwide.
That's a good point. The first time I seen someone successfully fade Uros, they were looking at the strength of schedule in his competition. They said the combined records of his opponents weren't too hot. So it is hard to scout talent at that lower level when you haven't been tested, when you haven't been slotted into the rankings, when you're on the upswing. It is hard to figure out who's got the edge in these fights. And that's why I'm not too hot on the gambling picks this week, personally.
Ugly Man Joe coming in as the last pick of the draft. He's got 6 inches on Allen. He's going to have the reach advantage. He's got power behind his punches. He's got a lot of round 1, round 2 finishes, a lot of rear naked chokes. Should be a good fight. Should be fun.
Looking forward to it. Let's pull up that bout order, see what we can look forward to early on in the card. We got 3 hours of Nerdlims this week, kicking off at 2 o'clock Mountain, 5:30 Newfoundland or Shed time. Kicking off with Lees Reed, Sam Hughes, Chase Hooper, Felipe Colares, and John Martin, Vince Morales. I'm looking forward to seeing Chase Hooper again. He's been out a little bit. Hopefully he picks some things up in his game, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the octagon this Saturday.
Yeah, I think that one should be pretty fun. He's got a unique style, so he's kind of fun to watch, kind of interesting, kind of not really sure what he's going to do next. He's going to be pulling guard probably a lot of times and trying to submit Felipe, so we'll see if he's successful or not there.
Yep, sometimes his striking is a bit wonky, a bit loopy. He just wants to maybe close the distance or throw his opponent off a bit. We'll see what happens, see if he's tightened up a bit, got a bit more discipline with the striking department. Second half of the limbs, looking at that Almeida-Parker Porter fight. I'm looking forward to this one. Not really sure how this one got put together matchmaking-wise, but I'm looking forward to seeing Parker Porter pick up the decision win. We're looking at 12 units if you bet 1 unit on that one. That's my spicy pick of the week. We're going to play it low-key. Maybe just put a couple bucks on that one, see how it rides.
Besides that one, for Holmes and Abadovsky to be a pretty quick fight, I think. I was watching both these guys. They looked absolutely gassed when fighting in round 2 against pretty tough opponents there. So look for a round 2 finish by one of them.
Middleweight can be a real sloppy weight class. So that'll be a fun fight.
Yeah, hopefully enough power and size to get some KOs, though. Hey.
That main card, this is the weak card. I'm not going to lie, man. A lot of new blood, not a lot of established talent in this card.
I got to agree with you there, but there's 2 newcomers there in the women's strawweight division, and they could actually make some noise in there. Tabitha Ritchie is 5'1", pure muscle at 115. Polyana Viana is a submission specialist. Tabitha Ritchie is going to be coming in, trying to shoot for takedowns. Polyana is going to be pulling guard. So this one's going to be mostly on the ground. Polyana trying to work, just trying to grab an arm and prevent some beatdown. Tabitha Ritchie's relentless, and she's got the stamina to go, and she's going to be trying to ground and pound the entire time. It should be pretty fun chess match to watch, I think.
This is a pick 'em bout. Sometimes what we might see happen is that Polyana can't even put it together because of the strength and the stature of Ricci. If she's just too strong to get a hold of, we might just see the wrestling fall flat, and maybe that's why we're seeing the money lean just a little bit on the Tabitha Ricci side. Our 2 big fights of the night, Michelle Pereira, Santiago Ponzinibbio. In the main event, Holly Holm back in action. Big layoff for her, like 18, 19 months. And Ketlin Vieira, a lot of momentum coming off that win over Misha Tate recently back in November. Michelle Pereira, is he going to crack the rankings? Is he going to steal that number from Santiago? Santiago might have lost a bit of shine in the number 14, or maybe he's going to hold it down, keep Michelle out of the rankings. Going to be an entertaining fight, that's for sure. And I love betting Michelle Pereira, very exciting fighter. Look for him to throw a backflip in here, maybe a little run off the cage, do some crazy stuff, man. He's fun to watch. Looking forward to this belt big time. Now, the Holly Holm, Caitlin Vieira fight, is it like 2-1 that it goes the distance? Is that right?
It's more than that, I think. It was about like 1.4 that it will go the distance.
Minus 230 to go to the distance.
Yeah, pretty well.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely recommend that you bet that this fight goes the distance because it might start to drag. Let's be frank here. This might turn into a point fight affair.
Yeah, for sure. So I was trying to look around for the best odds that I can find for basically Holly Holm by decision. And I did luck into one.
Now, you were saying Holly Holm by decision. Look at that. First gambling pick of the night, 1.8, Holly Holm by decision. And like
1.8.
I was saying, betting the fight goes long, at least you got something to look forward to, that payout.
Yeah, for sure. So I was looking around at a couple of different books. I seen Holly Holm by decision 1.5, 1.55. Found it on Proline 1.8. So I jumped on that one, threw it on the gambling picks. and off we go for that one. If Holm's going to win, she's most likely going to go by decision. So 1.8, I like the value there. Michelle Pereira, like him at 1.83, pretty much a pick 'em. The two lowest odds that we got are 1.8s on the gambling pick. So we got some spicy ones with the underdogs to look forward to here. We got the medic, we got the doctor, we got Uros here coming in at 2.25.
225 is not too steep. That's pretty close to picking territory. Last week had a little break even on the gambling picks, you were saying. So we're trying to figure out how to make these gambling picks play the best. Mostly at this point, it's just been for entertainment, but maybe we can lean into the spice, lean into the methods of victory, and start to pick up some real heavy money bets.
Yeah, so what I found was we were just losing the money betting on, say, some heavy favorites for like 2.5 units, something like that. We would take
shouts out to Kutalaba for dropping the ball last week.
Yeah, really. The biggest bet that we had last week failed tremendously with a round 1 submission against him from Ryan Spann. It was disastrous. But that's why we're not really doing these ones here this week. So we're gonna shoot for some spicy ones. We're laying less than a unit on the line there for these ones. So we're gonna try and just pick up some value picks here and make sure we're not swinging and missing on big ones.
You take a look at the Dev spicy picks. We're 1-1 on spicy picks, and we're even. We had to deal with a -500 that crashed and a +500 that hit. The 3 bets that I ran cost me 2.2 units, and I picked up 7 units. Let's hit the spice, baby. Pollyanna by sub, Chase by sub. That's some spicy stuff. Parker by decision, if you want to go 12.00 and really lean into Parker's toughness and veteran experience, taking over Jailton Almeida. Parker's gone the decision the last 3 fights, I believe. He's got that cage time, and I'm hoping that his technique is just going to outplay Almeida, and we're going to see Almeida run out of fuel and not land the TKO in the first couple of minutes.
Let's go. Looking forward to that one. But we did kind of alter the strategy here. So Chidi and Elise, they were 1.5 favorites each around there. So we're just going to parlay them together, put less than a unit down on that one. Vince Morales, if he wins, it's probably going to be a round one knockout, something like that, coming out crazy. So maybe we'll see that happen at a 2.6. Eric Anders leaning into the dog picks there from you in the draft. So we're taking him at a 2.6. I like Tabitha to win. She's the stronger fighter. I like that, but I don't really like the odds with the pick'em at the 1.7. So I'll just go ahead, parlay that one together with Philippe. He should get the win as well, honestly. But I'll just parlay them together because I'm not totally confident, not ready to lose a combined 3 units between them. And then besides that, we got our spice. So we got Joseph Holmes by KO. He's got the reach, he's got the kicks, he's got the power. And then we got Vieira, submission specialist. If she wins, it's going to be by submission, absolutely. So look for her to be grabbing arms, trying to isolate that, and get an armbar out of Tabitha. So I'll hedge myself on my own parlay on that one there. Parker Porter, definitely look for decision on this one if you want to get the absolute money, but I'll just take him by himself there. And then Chase Hooper by sub. He's another sub hunter. He's going to be looking to get the submission and get his opponent down on the ground, submit him out. And I like the odds at 6.0 for that happening.
Nice. Looking forward to seeing how our gambling picks come out this week. Looking ahead, we got number 7 and number 8 in that 265 division. Drago Volkov taking on Biggie Boy Rosenstrike. Really looking forward to that fight June 4th. And then we got the pay-per-view, the return. Joanna Ian Jacek, Zhang Weili going to run it back. Valentina Shevchenko's out for blood, taking on Tyler Santos. And Old Man Glover Teixeira is taking on Jiri Prochazka. Really looking forward to that pay-per-view June 12th. And we got the week off May 28th.
Yeah, let's go. Weeks like this kind of make you miss the pay-per-view. We got a loaded card coming up in a few weeks. We got, 3 hours of nerd limbs like it is coming up this weekend. But there's money to be made. There's value in these inexperienced fighters if you can pick out which one is going to come out on top. I think we're going to be making some money this week as opposed to last pay-per-view when we lost a shit ton. So
got to agree with you there. Sometimes you get carried away in the hype of all things, but there will be a winner. We're head to head, right? So if I don't win, you will. Let's go.
Absolutely. Let's go, man.
If you're on the Twitter, check us out at Shed2Ed. Check us out. Give us a follow.
We got our gambling spreadsheet up on there. That's a Google Doc spreadsheet shared to the public there. So you can basically track how we're doing. You can track all of our bets that we've had so far, all of our draft picks that we've had so far, and our bets for the last 4 or 5 shows since we've been doing the gambling. So all the units are tracked up there. You can see how much we're losing, and you can play along. Other than that, we might shoot something special for you next week. We might not.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's get it
Let's
happening.
go.
Let's go.